Well, where I come from, this is how we start. Repeat after me. Howdy. Okay, you may have said that to a computer screen just now. I am so excited to be here. I'm a huge fan of Anglicans for Life and our shared mission to end abortion and related attacks against human life. My name is Laura Muzyka. I serve as president and CEO of Sidewalk Advocates for Life, the largest sidewalk advocacy organization around the globe. There is no greater mission that you can be a part of. There's no greater place than you can be than right now. Other than Jesus Christ himself, life is our greatest and most foundational gift, the right from which all other rights flow. Isn't that true? I really believe in my heart that there is a reason why you are here today. As the book of Esther says, can you not shake the feeling that you were made for such a time as this? Friends, this may be the year that Roe is overturned. But either way, one of the reasons that I'm most excited to be with you is that the activity that I'm getting ready to talk about, sidewalk advocacy, reaching out to every eternal soul, walking into your local abortion facility, offering them loving, life-affirming alternatives. Former abortion providers have told us that's the activity that most devastated their business. Former Planned Parenthood director Abby Johnson, in fact, tells us that at the last Planned Parenthood conference she went to before she came to our side of the fence, Planned Parenthood told her that when there is a peaceful outreach presence in front of their facilities, the cancellation or no-show rate can go as high as 75%. And then there were none. Abortion Worker Ministry tells us that over 60% of the workers coming to them to find hope and healing in Christ, help transitioning out of the industry, got information from a sidewalk advocate. Unbelievable. So is this activity effective? You better believe it. The proof is right here. In fact, as I'll highlight in just a bit, it's actually not just effective, but it's ending abortion one community at a time, and you're invited to be a part of it. Now, as you discern this unique call to the sidewalk, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our organization and how we can prospectively serve you. A little bit about us. Sidewalk Advocates for Life launched in the spring of 2014 with a professed mission to train, equip, and support those who have a heart to go to their local abortion facility, reach out to mothers in crisis, save preborn children, and ultimately, gradually, end abortion in their community. When we launched, we started with 22 locations, and we've grown in about 7.5 years to 220 worldwide, of course, mostly here in the United States. We are a community-based 3-point program. So we have a ready-made comprehensive program that includes training, tools, and support. So again, training, tools, and support. So this is another hallmark, we're proud to be cross-denominational. We're proud to work with Catholics and Protestants and everyone in between. We got a really healthy mix in our ministry, people across the body of Christ, bringing them together, uniting them in this great mission. Folks who may not always see eye to eye theologically, but they're willing to stand arm in arm in this great mission together. The other hallmark of our program is that it can be run at both abortion and abortion referral facilities. And if you don't have either one of those in your backyard, then you can go to the town square and hand out information about the local Life Affirming Pregnancy Resource Center. So the idea here is that, even if you don't have a bricks and mortar abortion facility in your immediate backyard, you may still have a Planned Parenthood family planning facility in your community that doesn't do abortions within their walls, but they surely refer for them. And they have other types of healthcare clients that still need our help to find more pro-life healthcare alternatives. That's a huge part of our training, because the idea is that if we're going to gradually shut down our local abortion facility peacefully and prayerfully, we have to have a solution for these clients, for every type of Planned Parenthood client who crosses our path. And the good news is it's not hard to provide a life-affirming healthcare alternative for the non-abortion clients, because Planned Parenthood provides very, very limited healthcare at best. Federally qualified health centers and other community health organizations, pro-life doctors, these entities outnumber Planned Parenthoods more than 20 to 1. They do everything a Planned Parenthood does and so much more. So as sidewalk advocates, if we have at the ready, where else she can go if it's not morally problematic to refer her. So, if you're crossing paths with the well woman client, the woman going in for a breast exam, well, those aren't morally problematic services. We want women to take charge of their health. We want them to get their well woman exams, for example. We can tell them, hey, you can go down the street to, this center and they do them for $25 cheaper. Or, maybe we need to help someone to fill that need in a more life affirming manner. For the birth control client, we don't want to refer for birth control because, we may be referring for an abortifacient drug. And we don't want to mess with that. And so, we can plant seeds if she's unmarried for sexual integrity, and plant seeds for the married client for maybe a fertility awareness-based model that doesn't risk an early abortion, right? So what happens when we do this? When we add all of this up, we pull a lot of business away from the facility, ultimately the industry, and it's hard for abortion facilities to stay open. Now, people always ask us at Sidewalk Advocates for Life how we do this. What's the spirit by which we approach those entering the abortion facility? And the bottom line here is that to win life-saving conversations, to be effective, we have to be who we would want to talk to if we were in crisis. I mean, that's really something to think about. And so we want to be peaceful or calm. We want to be prayerful because we know that with God, all things are possible. And apart from him, we can do nothing, right? We want to be loving. We're told the greatest of these is love. And we want to be law abiding so that we have a chance to reach out to every eternal soul who crosses our path that day. So now, kind of setting the stage with our values on the sidewalk, let's go ahead and talk about approach. And so at this moment, I'll give you a quick overview with something we call the compass. And here in just a bit, I'll explain our simple 5-point method that's kind of like the map, right? So when you're trying to get from point A to point B, the compass is going to kind of point you due north, the general direction that you're supposed to go, right? So get an idea of where to take a conversation. But then the map is, the thing specifically that tells you, well, turn left here, turn right here, right? So I'll go over that here in just a bit, step by step. We'll walk you through a life-saving conversation with an abortion-minded client. So, in explaining the compass, keep in mind that we as pro-lifers really have things in the natural, you might even say right order, right? God comes first. A mother puts her children before herself. So the right order, the natural order is God, baby, mom. But according to right brain research, a woman who is seeking an abortion, a woman in crisis mode, a woman in self-preservation mode, often has all of that inverted. And she's thinking more along the lines of mom, baby, God. It's not even that she's necessarily meaning to think of herself first, but that's what happens sometimes when we're in crisis. Overwhelmed by her circumstances, she's more inclined to prioritize ridding herself of crisis over the life of her precious child or even her own faith and morals. So in the short amount of time that we have with her on the sidewalk, if we want to reach her as Christ met us in our great need, if we want to effectively reach her to help save mother and child from abortion, we have to start with mom and show her that we care about her and her situation first. Then what happens? Her heart is then more open to hearing about baby and then to God. At the end of the day, remember that it's not the baby who's making the decision, it's mom, right? She's the one we have to reach. If we don't reach her heart, then abortion doesn't end in that moment and a life isn't saved. So we implore you to start with mom, love her, build that trust, build that rapport, even in the, several seconds that you may have to open the conversation, offer to fill those needs. And quite often baby will come right along with her. Now, as God's people have answered the call to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, to go to the darkest place in their community, stand in the gap and speak peace and life into, the situations that are presented to them. As they've answered this call in a Christ-like manner, here's the victories that we have seen in our ministry alone in 7.5 years. We are now celebrating nearly 17,000 mothers and babies saved from abortion. I mean, to God be the glory, great things he is doing. That is unbelievable. 80 abortion workers who have left with the help and witness of a sidewalk advocate and gotten linked up with, and then there were none, abortion worker ministry, and dozens of closed facilities. In fact, we're getting ready to post a new updated number on our website very soon. So be sure to check that out at sidewalkadvocates.org. Now, as far as how you can become active in saving lives in your community, here's what you would do in joining us on the sidewalk, joining our team. You can go to sidewalkadvocates.org, click apply in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to our very simple application. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to fill out, right? And once we receive that, it'll go to our programs department. So those ladies will look it over. They'll set up a brief phone consult with you. They'll explain the program from A to Z, see what questions you have. Once approved, you'll get access to our unique, comprehensive 3-point training tools and support program. So very simple, 5-minute application, brief phone consult. Once approved, you get access to everything that we have available. And let me go ahead and share with you at this time, that map. This is kind of the bread and butter, just to give you an example of some of the things you'll be learning in our 5-hour basic training. The idea is that when everybody goes to that 5-hour basic training, they sign our pledge of integrity that, they pledge to be peaceful, prayerful, loving, and law-abiding. They are a sidewalk advocate. And here's how you're going to then guide conversations on the sidewalk. So the 5-point method, let's go ahead and start with number 1. That is smile and greet and love. So this is as simple as, hi there, I'm Lauren. I'm referring to our Women's Center down the road. Okay, so you're introducing yourself, you're linking yourself to a professional entity. You've got professional training. We're doing this with a lot of confidence, with a big smile. Number 2, we're going to give literature and explain the help. So, hi there, I'm Lauren. I'm referring to our Women's Center down the road. We've got free pregnancy tests, free sonograms, free options counseling. Saves you up to $275 today if you go with our services instead. Are you by chance in need of those services? And so I've introduced myself. I'm a professional, right? I've let her know about all of the free help that's available in the community right away. And this is so important that we mention this up front, because some women literally, you may have invited them to stop just in the driveway on public right of way there, right? And explain this help. And they might say, well, where is this? And you'll say, oh, it's right next door. It's just a mile down the road. And they'll be empowered then to take their business elsewhere. And then that deeper conversation can happen in a more relaxed setting at the pregnancy center, where she'll have a chance to hear the truth about her growing child and, all of these resources for her situation, right? So we are seeing, no kidding, turnarounds in the Planned Parenthood driveway just with step 1 and 2 in about 20 seconds, right? And then you're focusing on a professional handoff to them, basically skipping to step number 5. But some folks might need a little bit more conversation. So she might say, well, I'm thinking about things, or I've got an appointment, right? So then you can go to step number 3, which is ask and listen. The goal of this conversation is to figure out why she's there, and then to fill those needs in a life-affirming manner. Really, that's the modus operandi of a sidewalk advocate with any client. Why are they there? Fill those needs. So you might say, what is it that brings you here today, sweetie? Is it finances? Is it family? We would love to help you with anything you might need. And so maybe she says to you, well, I don't know how I'm going to put food on the table. And so you might say, well, we can get you to our Women's Center down the road and help with rent, groceries, a place to live, anything you need. We would love to be there for you, right? And so you're filling that need as you hear it in a very life-affirming manner. You might say, hey, this is where the pain starts. Run from this. We want to save you from the tears and the nightmares, right? Touching on the pain of abortion, but then quickly moving to hope. You are not alone. Anything you need at all, we'll be there. We'll make sure you get these needs filled. We'd love to walk with you in this journey, right? And then step 5 is empower her to leave. So we never end a conversation without an invitation to the local life-affirming pregnancy resource center. We are a gateway to them, right? And all these wonderful resources in our community. So either way, you're going to say, I'd love to get you next door or down the road. Betty's on duty right now. I know you're going to love her, right? It's a wonderful center. I'd love for you just to give them a try. Remember at the end of the day that there is no perfect sidewalk advocate, that God is going to use your unique gifts and talents. So whether you are young or old, woman or man, introverted or extroverted, God can use you to move mountains on the sidewalk. At the end of the day, remember that it doesn't depend on us. It depends on God and those who must respond to his grace. Matthew 10:19 tells us, do not worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say. You will be given at that moment what you are to say, for it will not be you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. I know one of the things I had to wrestle with in starting this ministry more than 20 years ago, I started as a teenager doing this, right? And it hit me at one point that if people are going to reject Jesus Christ, they're going to reject Lauren Muzyka, they're going to reject us. But if we persevere, we really will see mountains move through God's grace. And our victory literally may be the very next person that we speak to. With the help of Sidewalk Advocates for Life, if we can be of service to you, we're the nation's leading sidewalk advocacy organization. We promise that you will have the tools to help the Holy Spirit to best work through you. It's the greatest honor of our lives to serve you. So if you'd like to join an existing team of Sidewalk Advocates or start your own, we invite you to go to sidewalkadvocates.org for more information. And once again, we'd love to be of service. Thank you so much for allowing me to be with you, and God bless you and your ministry.